Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a simple, easy, and pretty fast drift build using a few tricks that I taught myself and a few tricks I learned from watching a bunch of YouTube videos. As you can see, my BMW drifts and it goes very fast. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build a car that does something similar along the lines of this, whether it's a rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, because I have a rear-wheel drive car and it goes pretty fast as well. Using the same exact things I'm going to show you guys in today's video. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing you're going to need to do is pick your car. It is very important that you pick a car that you know you are going to use for your build. Something that you have been wanting to use, maybe for a while even, if it has been a car you've been wanting to use for quite a bit. Now, basically what you're going to do is you're just going to scroll through. You're going to see if you can find the car you want. I'm going to go into Nissan and I'm going to grab this Silva Spec R 2000. I'm going to I'll make it yellow. Why not? Let's go ahead and make it yellow. Now, after you have selected the car that you want and the car that you have purchased, you're going to go over to upgrades and tuning. Now, once you're in custom upgrade and you can actually upgrade your car, we're going to start with conversion. The first thing you should figure out, the very first thing, in my opinion, is to figure out whether you want your car to be rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. All-wheel drive comes with several benefits, and rear-wheel drive also comes with several benefits. However, in this case, I'm going to go all-wheel drive for the extra speed boost that you get when your car takes off. Now, the second thing that's really important is your engine. Your engine plays a very big part, so make sure you have an engine that fits your car very well. The main things you should be focusing on right now is your launch, your acceleration, and your speed when it comes to swapping your engine. This is going to play a very big part for what comes on later in the video. So go ahead and choose your engine. If you want to use a body kit, then that is cool, but make sure it's a body kit that is going to be useful, not something that's particularly useless, as they say. And then you're going to pick your transmission. Most transmissions you should go with that work is something like the 7-speed or the 8-speed if those are the only ones available. Some cars will work better with a 6-speed or a 10-speed. So really, it kind of just depends on the car you're using. In this case, using the 4-speed would drastically change the car's performance in terms of launch and acceleration. So we're going to go with a 7-speed. Then for your driveline, you're going to use race, or you can choose to do stock. Really doesn't make much of a difference. Differential, you're going to make that drift. Platform and handling, you're going to put on stock brakes. Your springs are going to be drift. Your front anti-roll bars are going to be race, and your rear anti-roll bars are also going to be race. Your chassis reinforcement, again, depends on the car. Sometimes with some cars in this game, it'll improve the stats. Other times, it'll make the stats worse. Same thing with the weight reduction. So you're going to go into your engine and you're going to max out everything. You need as much power as possible. If it looks like it's changing your stats on your car, don't worry about that right now. You pretty much have the stats that you will already need for the car that you are using. So just go ahead and max out everything. Now in terms of tire compound, there's two ways you can go with this. You can choose to either use the stock tire compound, which will work very well on some cars. So that part is pretty much just trial and error. Me personally, I like to use the snow tire compound. The snow tire compound is very good and it makes your car slide around a lot, which is something that we are looking for. So if your car works better with snow tires, slap those bad boys on because you will slide way better. Now, front tire width, you're going to want to keep that stock. Don't change a single thing about it. Rear tire width, you're going to move that one over to the right of stock. So if it's 205, you're going to switch it to 215. If it's 305, you're going to switch to 315, and etc. Now, for the rear track width and all this right here, you're just going to leave it stock. You're not going to change anything. Even if it shows and improves your handling, don't change it because sometimes that can actually ruin the handling performance of your car. Now, aero and performance, this part pretty much doesn't matter as much as you think it would. So really, just put on whatever looks good. Let's see. I'm going to go with this. And I'm just going to take that off. Think that looks cleaner. I'm going to put that on there. I'll put that on there. And I'll put the hood on there. Alright, so now that you have your car, this part is also pretty important in some cars. I won't say all, but some cars. One thing I forgot to mention in the tires and rims section is to make sure that your rims are as light as possible. And you can check this by looking at your stats of the car. If they become worse, then you will see the decrease. And if that doesn't help, you can always toggle it to see your weight with certain wheels, as you can see. Now, me personally, I don't really focus on the weight of the car that much. I pretty much just go with whatever looks good. But in this case, that's what we're going to use. And if you want to make your rim size bigger, you can. Again, this really has no effect on the actual car. Now, once that's done, we get to the fun part, the tuning. Now, I'm going to show you a tune that I use relatively on all of the drift cars that I've made. So, your front tire pressure should be 32.5 and your rear tire pressure should be 17.5. Okay, your gearing, this part is actually very, very important. So if you look at the graph on the bottom right of the screen, you can see that the first gear is stock. And normally that's like a 417. Now what you're going to do is you're going to lower this until you see it come across that line. Like just between, kind of like a cross here. Like if you see this cross right here, you're kind of just going to make sure that that fits perfectly through there. And that's your first gearing ratio that you're going to want to need. Your final drive can stay stock. Now, this part is also really important. Whatever you set your second gear to, you can just keep that as is. Okay, if it's something like this between the first and second gear, that is okay. But this next part is going to help you a lot more. Next up, really just expand it to where you think looks good for the gearing ratio. So to whatever you think fits better on the car and the graph, that's basically what you're going to set it to. And this is where the trick comes into play for the main part of this tune, because you want this car to still be able to pick up speed relatively fast. Starting from third gear, you're going to push all of this up by 10. So third gear, 175, we're going to put that to 185. 137, we're going to put that to 147. 111, you're going to put that to 121. Same thing. You're going to do that to every single one of these starting from third gear. Now, as you can see, looking at the graph, you can tell that the gearing ratio is often going to be very weird, as you can see. In some parts, it's bigger than the other. Some parts, it's smaller than the other. But this is going to help you out a lot, guys. Trust me, this is going to make sure that your car has the necessary speed that it needs for it to hit those corners at those fast-paced speeds. So, next up, your rear. Moving on to the alignment, your front camber should be -5. Your rear should be positive 0.5. Your toe out should be 0.2, and your toe in should be 0.6. Your front caster should be 7, but really, if I were you, I would recommend anywhere between 6 to 7, nothing lower. Next up is the anti-roll bars. This part is a very interesting part. Basically, make sure that the front number is 30, not 31, not 32 or 35. Make sure that it says 30 on the front anti-roll bar, regardless of what the second point is. So if it's 30.30, fine. 30.50, fine. Doesn't make really much of a difference. Your rear, you're just going to put that all the way down. So, moving on to springs. After you get here, you're going to make sure you move this dot right under the T, pretty much, right? And then the same thing we did with anti-roll bars, you're going to move the rear all the way down to the bottom. So the front should match along with the T, and the rear should be all the way down. Your ride height, personally, this is just something I like to do. I like to bump this first one up by 3 ticks, and then the rear by 4. Just because, me personally, I feel like this gives the car better handling. Next up, you're going to move this down to 6.4, and you're going to put this one down to 4.5. This one you're going to put to 4.9, and you're going to put this one here to 3.1. Then your arrow, you're going to skip that, and you're going to put your brakes to 40% in the rear. So that way you can slow your car down without it braking too much. Next up, you're going to max out your acceleration. Now, in other cases, if your car was rear-wheel drive to begin with, it'll help more often to put most of the power in the rear end of the car. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, you have made your fast-paced drift build. So, you will be able to hit those corners that you have been wanting to hit at very high, decent speeds. This is very good for your car. Just make sure your gear shifting right, otherwise it could end in a bit of a disaster. But aside from that, everything else with this car is good. As you can see, we're 4th gear, going really fast. Gonna shift down to 2nd. And that was a very clean turn.
You have arrived at your destination.
And as you can see, guys, this car has very, very, very good control in the handling department. It has very good speeds for you to maintain. If there is any issues, you can go ahead and adjust this to your liking with the gearing. Again, this is just something I like to do personally because I think it looks better. But yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this video and if this has helped you even a little bit, then be sure to leave a like, hit subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what part this video has helped you with the most. I will see you guys in the next one.